Hey everyone, my name is Sean Arnold and welcome to my Violent Synchro deck build. This is a build which I originally was trying to aim to build a more of a pure Violent deck, but after doing so much testing with this archetype for about 4 days straight, I really find it hard to kind of build a deck around just purely Violent cards. The reason why for this is because Violent try to be a Synchro deck. They have a lot of different types of tuners, but they really lack any form of special summoning. If you're going to be a Synchro deck, you need to be able to either freely summon your tuners or freely summon your non-tuner monsters in order to make Synchros quite reliably and quite easily. And this deck doesn't really have it except for their one card, Violent Element, and that card alone is not enough to be reliable in order to keep on summoning out these monsters. Furthermore, what makes it running a pure Violent deck difficult is a lot of their effects are only targeted towards Violent monsters, and they're not that great, but even still they're only for Violent monsters only. So if you're going to run non-tuner style non-Violent monsters in this deck, you can't use those effects with those monsters also. Last but not least, the Synchro monsters which are available to Violence aren't really that great either. There are OTK variants of these decks out there with Sigma and Omega control, but they are very inconsistent and they don't run reliably, and that's not a way I like to run in Legacy the Duelist when you have a ranked format that is only one game a piece. So the deck which I've built here is more just on a generic Synchro deck using Violent monsters. The only other monster which I recommend here will be Stellar, but I will explain what that does along the way. So this is my Violent Synchro deck build. As you can see, it runs a lot of monsters, a lot of spells, but no traps whatsoever because speed is the key of this deck. And let's break down the monsters as we go along. We have 2 copies of Effect Failure here. Effect Failure is a really solid card. It's very versatile in this deck. One, it's a light monster, so we can use it for other effects that we'll get to later. 2, it has the effect that it can negate an opponent's monster effect during their main phase. And 3, it's a level 1 tuner, which can gives us a little bit of versatility into what monsters we can access in our extra deck. The third card here is Galaxy Serpent. I will talk about Galaxy Serpent a little bit more later, but it is a level 2 Dragon Light Tuner monster, and again it gives you that extra versatility in this deck. The first Violent card here is Violent Tetra. Violent Tetra and all the other Violent tuners, including Prism and Stellar, which is in the extra deck, have the effect that when they are sent from the field to the graveyard, you pay 500 life points, target one face-up monster you control, and attach it to them as an equipped spell card. Then they give you a different effect. Tetra's effect is that the monster that it is equipped to, if it would be destroyed, you can destroy this card instead, giving it a little bit of extra protection. Running this card on certain Synchro monsters can make them really threatening because certain Synchro monsters can be hard enough to deal with on their own. So giving them that little extra bit of protection is really cool. Plus, on top of that, it kind of mitigates the cost of Synchro summoning, where you would normally lose 2 monsters to gain one back. You gain this card back, making Synchro summoning pretty much a 1-for-1 cost and almost pretty much free. Now we have 2 copies of Honest. 2 copies of Honest work really well in this deck here because you're not running trap cards. You do want a bit of protection for your monsters, and most of these monsters are light anyway. It can catch a lot of people off guard, and it is searchable with Summoner Monk. So Honest works out really well in this deck here. Next we have 3 copies of Photon Thrasher. This is the kind of card which I'm talking about, which a Synchro deck needs. It is a monster, a level 4 warrior type monster that can special summon itself to the field with when you have no other monsters on the field, making it really easy to use for a Synchro summon. There's nothing like this available to the Violent archetype, and there aren't any really generic light based support cards that can summon out these non-tuner monsters, so this is why I'm not using them. Instead I'm using things like Photon Thrasher. Another monster which can be reliably summoned is Speedroid Menko. Speedroid Menko has the effect that when your opponent declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card to the field and turn all of their monsters to defense position. This card is behind a DLC pack, so do not feel like you have to rush out and buy it, but it is a really solid option and it gives you that kind of extra defense which this deck needs because it's not running any trap cards. Plus it's level 4, so that's also really good. Summoner Monk here is a classic monster for Synchro decks, works out really well in this deck. You discard a spell card and you can search out any level 4 monster from your deck. The target you would normally go for is Violent Prism and then go into a level 8 Synchro summon, but yeah, no, Summon a Monk is just always reliable and has tons of spell cards which you can discard for it. Violent Prism is pretty much the best Violent monster to go for. It gives the Violent monster it attaches to 1000 attack, which when attached to certain synchros can really make them threatening. Just quite absurd monsters you can make with this, and yeah, that's really all it does, but it's just a solid monster. Really like Violent Prism. The only reason why I'm not running Violent Stellar in this deck is because its effect is good but not always necessary. Its effect is that when it is attached to a monster and the monster battles, it will destroy that monster through its effect, which can be good in some situations but not enough for me to run this into my main deck, so that's why I'm not running Stellar. Prism, however, and Tetra are really good and very reliable. Now we have 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier, a really good light based monster that's easy to summon and good for synchro summoning. You can discard one other light monster in your hand to the graveyard in order to special summon this card from your hand in defense position. When you special summon this card, you then get to search out another Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand. Now normally people will just go for another copy of Soldier, but we also have Serpent in here as a bit of variety, because with this being special summoned, you can then normal summon your Serpent and then go into a level 7 synchro pretty much for free. It's really easy to do and very reliable, and I really just love playing 3 soldiers with 1 Serpent in this deck. Last but not least, we have Primitive Butterfly, a really cool card which I wasn't really aware of until recently. It is a monster where if you control no monsters on the field, you can special summon it. But what's really good about this card that sets itself apart from monsters such as Cyber Dragon is that you can increase the level of all insect monsters you control by 1 once per turn. So this monster originally comes out as a level 5, but if you want at level 6, you can make it a level 6, and it gives you that extra degree of versatility depending on what you want to summon. Typically I will increase it to 6 if I want a level 8, or keep it at 5 if I want a level 7, and then summon something out with Tetra or Galaxy Serpent and go from there. Onto the spell cards. For the spell cards, we have 2 copies of Dark Hole and Raigeki, and 2 copies of Smashing Ground just for spot non-targeted removal. Feel free to change these. I'm running in them just because I had no other ideas really. I could be running more cards like Max Z, or Ghost Ogre and Rabbit, which actually would be really good targets for this deck. But I decided to go for these just for fun. I like Smashing Ground a lot. Dark Hole is always fun, and in the Legacy of the Joyous environment, you don't really know who you're going to run into, and so those other types of hand traps aren't always necessarily reliable. Against good players and experienced players, they definitely work out better than these cards, but against newer players, having Smashing Ground and Dark Hole sometimes just works out really well. So feel free to go for other cards. I definitely would maybe recommend putting in Ghost Ogre and Rabbit, but otherwise, yeah, whatever. They're just removal. Instant Fusion is there for our 2 targets, Thousand Eyes Restrict for removal, and Northern. There's only 2 targets here, but because of Psyframe Lord Omega, that doesn't really matter too much, and I'll tell you why later. We have Mind Control here because this is a synchro deck, and you can use any monster you take from your opponent's field as a resource for a synchro summon. 3 copies of MST. I can't really afford to run Twin Twister in this deck, so I'm doing MST. If you want to do Galaxy Cyclone instead, feel free to. Reasoning works out well in this deck. Pretty much everything in this deck is a good target for Reasoning, so works out well and gives you more fodder. Reinforcement of the Army is there to search out Photon Thrasher, and Soul Charge is there to recover monsters from the graveyard, and then we have Upstart Goblin. So that's the main deck. As far as the extra deck is, we have 1 copy, I won't say what all of these do, but we have 1 copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict, 1 copy of Elder Entity Northern for revival and quick summons, TG Hyper Librarian because this is a synchro deck and you get to draw cards for synchro summoning, a Stardust Charge Warrior for more draws, Vulcan Defied for a level 6 monster that can remove, Black Rose Dragon for a level 7 monster that can remove, and Black Rose Moonlight Dragon for another monster that can remove, Claire Wing Synchro because he's just really powerful and protects itself, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon because it's so disruptive and very easy to summon with his deck. Psyframe Lord Omega is one of the best synchros out there, is locked behind DLC along with Scarlet Red Dragon Archery, so don't feel like you have to go get these, but they are very good synchros. Scarlet Cyframe Build Omega has 3 really good effects. It can take monster cards from your opponent's hand, it can return back cards from the banished pile to the graveyard, and it can shuffle cards in the graveyard back into your extra deck. So I often would like to use this with any of my synchro monsters that I want to summon again, or something like Elder Entity Northern if I want to use it with Instant Fusion one more time. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend has a Raigeki effect, so it can destroy all effect monsters that have been special summoned. Swap Dragon is removal, Spark Dragon is protection, Trishula wins games, and Leo is level 10. And that's it. This is the Violent Synchro deck. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy the build. Feel free to modify it. Like I said, I should have maybe more cards like Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Ghost Ogre could actually work well because it is also a light monster. But, you know, this is what I have for the time being. So, hopefully this works out. And frankly, this is the best way to run Violence in my opinion. Anyway, if you guys want to see this video in action, feel free to check one of the link videos to this video here to see some gameplay of it. Otherwise, if you want to play against me, feel free to hit me up on PSN, the Arnold's Play, and please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Thank you for watching and take care.